Today's sponsor is Audible.com, who has more than 180,000 audiobooks and spoken word audio products. Get a free audiobook of your choice at www.audibletrial.com/shark. Hey, welcome to the Movies, Films, and Flicks podcast, everyone. I'm your host, John Lasovov, and joining me today for this very special episode of Movies, Films, and Flicks are my co-hosts, Mark Hoffmeyer.
Did I ever tell you guys how I met my wife?
No.
All right, well, so I used to live in Hawaii, and
I remember.
I did some work out there on a boat, and I met this woman who worked at an aquarium who trained the animals. But the problem was she had amnesia, so every night she forgot what her day was, right?
Yeah.
So, we went on one date, and, then she forgot. Then we went on 2 dates. Long story short, we went to 50 strong dates. She still didn't remember me. And we broke up, then I met my wife the next day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'd call that movie 50 First Dates with Kurt Russell.
I guess that's kind of overboard, too.
Hey!
Whoa, overboard.
Yeah, John Lemongood. What's the Kurt Russell pun that you got for us?
I got no pun, but so this is going to sound like a very non-Kurt Russell thing, but I have never seen in my life a full episode of Full House. No joke. Never in my life seen a full episode of Full House.
Well, you're not missing much.
And so now they have this Netflix thing, and John Stamos has gotten kind of popular over the last few years with his sitcoms that tend not to go too far, or whatever. So I thought, just today, I'd try the first episode of Full House. Well, I still haven't watched a full episode of Full House, but I'm just sitting there thinking, the way that Joey's hair used to look, John Stamos' hair used to look,
yeah,
that could have been like a young Kurt Russell in that role.
I mean, that's what he based it off of.
Yeah.
I think that I would have actually watched Full House if Kurt Russell was in that role instead of the Stamos.
Yeah.
That's right. And he was more Captain Ron than Rockstar.
Have mercy. I didn't do that right.
I'm just saying Kurt Russell could have made Full House fuller for me.
Right.
Yep. I agree.
I don't know. I have still yet to watch Full House. I watched Full House back when I was a kid, mainly because my sister, she loved the show, and she always had control of the TV. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, check out Fuller House.
Yep.
And a podcast.
TGIF.
Yeah.
If you had control of the house, if you had control of the TV instead, your sister would be quoting Kurt Russell every day.
All right, guys. This episode is not about Full House or Fuller House, unfortunately. It's actually a landmark moment in the Movies, Films, Flicks podcast. In case you guys haven't been keeping track, this is the 50th episode of Movies, Films, Flicks.
Fuller House of Kurt Russell!
Yeah. So I think, go ahead.
I was going to make a speech about how a lot of people said we wouldn't get here, but no one ever said that. Actually, people have been pretty supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to this guy on the bus the other day, and I was like, hey, man, we're going to get 50 episodes. He's like, what do you do again?
All right.
Who are you?
I'm just saying, he could not muster up the will to deny us the 50.
He's like, there's nobody on this bus, and you're sitting next to me.
All right, so for those of you listening at home, Lemongood, Mark, and I, we all got together and brainstormed what to do for the 50th episode, and we decided to do something that we've never done before in the podcast. Right?
Except for our first one.
Yeah. So for our 50th episode, we decided to focus on an actor we hardly ever discuss on Movies, Films, and Flicks. That man is Kurt Russell.
But this is the entirety of Kurt Russell. The first episode was specializing in his bare-skinned arms and his sleeveless shirts.
That's right.
I think we're going to get a little bit more in-depth for the 50th episode.
That's right.
So
we're going to learn more about the man and what makes his heart pump.
That's right. Blood.
All right,
Blood.
well, before we get started, though, I think we should start the podcast like we do every other podcast, like the other 49 podcasts we've done, with some listener questions.
All right. Well, I got a lot of support from Facebook, and our first question comes from Zane Hirschberger, and he asks, if Kurt Russell had ever won an Academy Award for one of his films, which of his films would he have won for?
Now, all right, so I'm going to go with kind of fact. And the only movie he's ever been nominated for a major movie award was Silkwood, which he starred with Cher and Meryl Streep. You know, pedigreed film. He got a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting.
Is that like 1983?
Yeah. So for Best Supporting Actor, he got a Golden Globe nomination as like the really kind of cool boyfriend that he had. So I think that was his like best chance, because that's like he hasn't done many like pedigree. He hasn't done like that movie where he's oh man, the guy in the wheelchair, the scientist, Theory of Everything. You know, he doesn't.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, he doesn't have one of those roles. But this was like kind of the closest he came. However, geez Louise, this one's tough for me. This one's tough because I kind of went. I didn't go with my heart. I went through like what the Oscars would actually award people for, and I want to hear what you guys have to say.
So I'll give my Oscar thought, my legit Oscar thought first. Then I'll let Laz go, because I did the same thing. I was kind of split and thinking both ways, and I feel like now Tombstone, he did a lot of face acting, kind of like Tom Hardy does grunt acting.
Oh.
Like but Kurt Russell in Tombstone did lots of gazing at the camera acting. It was very impressive, but it was at a time that people didn't recognize that as much. So unfortunately, not that for its time. But then he did that movie Miracle like 10 years ago. That struck me as the kind of movie that would get nominated, but isn't my favorite of his to get nominated.
Right.
Yeah. And And I'm going to go with, you said so I read every single Kurt Russell review that Roger Ebert wrote. So every movie that Kurt Russell has been in and reviewed by Ebert, I read this week, which was awesome. And the two roles that he spoke the most highly about were Miracle and Tombstone. And he said it's a shame that he got left out of awards talk, because Miracle's like this rare sports movie that's basically just about the coach, which if you think about Moneyball got nominated for an Oscar. And that's just about like,
It was about the GM. Yeah.
It's behind the scenes. So Kurt Russell has been like ahead of his time with like his staring acting like Tom Hardy and his behind the scenes acting like in Miracle. So yeah,
and you know what? Even though like now it was an amazing movie and he did a great job, but it wasn't the same caliber as Tombstone for his gaze acting. But think The Thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, I think Bill Murray should have been nominated for Kingpin, and I feel like he was amazing. I think he should have gotten a Best Supporting Actor nomination for Big Trouble in Little China, because that would have been the coolest thing to ever happen.
Yeah.
And everyone would be like, "Wait, supporting actor?" It's like, did you all see the movie?
Yeah.
And like the five nerds in the back of the auditorium would have been like, "Hey,
yeah.
Actually, he did win a Blockbuster Award for Executive Decision, but I am gonna say Tombstone. I'm gonna go with Tombstone.
So my legit choice though would have been like my heart would have been The Thing or Tombstone for his gaze acting.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Laz?
No, I gotta go with Big Trouble in Little China. Mark said it. Big Trouble in Little China for Best Supporting Actor.
What if the Academy was confused about his role and they nominated him for both Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor, and he won both?
It would have been well deserved.
And then in his speech, he has to rationalize to the audience how he can do both.
Well, you see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But all right, so Silkwood, Tombstone, Big Trouble in Little China.
That's good. All right. Second listener question, also from Facebook, comes from Jody Dye, and her question is: in your opinion, which of Kurt Russell's movies best showed his talent as an actor? Now that sounds very similar, but when I read that, different things actually came to mind.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, Tombstone did come to mind, but actually Backdraft was the first movie I thought of when I was kind of scrolling through his filmography for this. Like, it's not the movie that sticks with you the most. If you're a Kurt Russell fan, it's not a very Kurt Russell-y kind of movie, but Backdraft kind of stood out to me the most for his talent as an actor.
Okay. Lesvath?
Okay. So, I love Kurt Russell. I just put that out there. But he doesn't really get a chance to show his acting range too much, I feel like. He does a very good Kurt Russell character. He's just kind of ornery and just wisecracky.
He pulls the Ryan Reynolds, Anthony Hopkins, where both, it's like all of his movies, he plays a version of himself.
Yeah, but
like Captain Ron, he basically just played a version of himself that always had at least 3 pina coladas in him.
And I was, I just listened to the Big Trouble in Little China commentary, which is amazing. And John Carpenter makes fun of Captain Ron a lot.
You know what? I'm gonna go with 3,000 Miles to Graceland. It was just it was just so unique. I don't know.
He won a Razzie for that, or he got nominated for a Razzie for that.
Good for him.
All right, so I'm going to go with Miracle, and I'm going to read Roger Ebert. So he says, that leaves Kurt Russell and his character Brooks as a center and reason for the film. Although playing a hockey coach might seem like a slap shot for an actor, Russell does real acting here. He has thought about Brooks and internalized him. The real Brooks was available as a consultant to the film, and Russell and Gavin O'Connor, the director, create a study of a personality of a man who is leading young men through a process that led them to disappointment 20 years earlier. He has ideas about hockey and ideas about coaching, and like the Zen master, Phil Jackson begins with philosophy, not strategy. The film doesn't even end with the outcome of the big game. It ends by focusing on the coach after it is all over. So the Miracle was about Russell. And for me, I think he's good. I think he could swagger in his sleep. Like Kurt Russell, like when he sleeps, you could film it and you'd have like a cult classic. I like that. But I think Miracle pushed him out of his comfort zone. And I think he did his best acting. And I think he showed what he could have done, which is almost as frustrating. So I think Miracle.
I like that. That would have been like one of my thoughts too, right up there with like Tombstone and Backdraft, because Tombstone, Backdraft, and maybe Miracle, like what other movies has he done other than those 3 that are basically no nonsense?
Yeah,
like no joking around.
Yeah. Well, he did Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise, right? But then no one liked it. And then he did that Tarantino movie, Death Proof, which should have been his Pulp Fiction, but it was just kind of like a grindhouse. Right. Silkwood, I guess, and he got nominated for that. But yeah, he's mostly done he hasn't had many of those roles.
Yeah.
Do it, Kurt Russell.
It's a shame.
We all got sad there.
I know. We got sad because Kurt Russell never got a chance to show off his range.
Why, Kurt? Why?
Okay, I think that does it for listener questions for now. Thank you once again for those wonderful Kurt Russell questions.
They were well thought out.
Yeah. They were kind of okay answers.
Yeah. Pretty decent.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think it's time to kick off the topic for today.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Who wants to do the honors?
Go for it, Lev.
Well, I mean, so again, we've been talking about Kurt Russell pretty much throughout the whole lifetime of this podcast. And there's a strange irony that we didn't always talk about Kurt Russell, because before we started the podcast, Mark kind of initiated years of movie reviews and articles about Dolph Lundgren. And now it's the time of Kurt Russell. Like it's his era for us. And every episode he's got to come up. And when we were discussing the 50th, we were reflecting on it earlier, but I think that the way it really came out was, hey guys, our 50th episode is coming up. What are we going to do? I think Mark just said something like, Kurt Russell, everything. Like, so it just like, I remember it coming out very, very organically and without a lot of pause or thought. Like, yeah, Kurt Russell, let's do it. And so here we are. We're going to we each picked a few of our favorite Kurt Russell moments. You could call them Kurt Russell isms that we wanted to discuss. And we're going to go back and forth and reflect on some of our favorite things that make that sleeveless, amazingly facial-haired man such a commodity in our eyes in the film industry. Mark, why don't you kick us off?
All right, so I'm going to drop some knowledge on you guys, all right? Oh. I'm going to, not literally drop, because, that'd be weird. But I noticed a pretty interesting trend, guys. Do you want to know what that trend is?
Please.
Well, it's not sleeveless shirts because we did a whole podcast on it.
Yeah, not sleeveless shirts. Kurt Russell has a very long history with Elvis Presley.
Like he was his backup dancer.
Yeah, he was. He wrote his songs for him when he was 12. All right, yeah, so in 1963, Kurt Russell's first film role, he helped Elvis out by kicking him in the shin.
That would never help me.
Yep, so it's a movie, it's oh man, I had it written down actually, Kurt Russell World Fair. But yeah, so there's this scene, right? It happened at the World's Fair where Kurt Russell's standing there, or Elvis is standing there. Kurt Russell walks up to him, a little pipsqueak, 12-year-old kid, and Elvis is like, hey, kid, hey, kid.
That's Elvis?
Hey,
that's not some random guy selling cotton candy.
Yeah, and he said it 3 times. Why don't you hunka kick me in the shin, kid? And Kurt Russell's like, I'm not gonna kick you in the shin. Like, and then Kurt Russell's like, well, hey now, I'll give you $5. And then Kurt Russell's like, okay. And then he kicked him right in the shin. And Elvis is like, oh, hey. And then he
Can we just pause to appreciate that you are just like a say now from Foghorn Leghorn while you're doing your Elvis?
oh, thank you. That was good.
I'm saying.
Here's $5, kid. I'm gonna say. Oh, I'm saying. So he walks away, and then Kurt Russell's like, young Kurt Russell's like adults or something like that. So he makes a comment. So in 1963, a 12-year-old Kurt Russell kicked Elvis in the shin. And he didn't want to do it, and Kurt Russell feels like he kicked him too hard. Next, Kurt Russell played Elvis in a TV movie in 1979, and it was directed by John Carpenter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, so it was basically just like John Carpenter needed money, so he took this job. This is, he hires Kurt Russell, and Kurt Russell was Elvis, and apparently it's like a really not good paint by the numbers thing, but I've been reading a lot about it, and AV Club just put a piece about it, and they wrote this. They said, but though the swagger Russell would bring to his later starring roles for Carpenter wouldn't be out of place in a movie about the king of rock and roll, he plays Elvis as deeply vulnerable. There's never a point at which he doesn't look like an outsider, whether as a young man with a ducktail haircut and silk shirt or as a grown man who regularly wears a cape and sunglasses indoors. He always seems dressed for another world. So, like, instead of, like, doing, like, the swagger, like, hey, now, he did, like, the, hey, guys.
This is a more morose kind of Foghorn Leghorn.
Hey,
guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm Elvis. Well, yeah, we know you're Elvis. You're famous. Well, I just give you the benefit of the doubt.
So this is just, like, a year after John Carpenter did Halloween.
Yep.
This movie was his follow-up on Halloween. 1979 was this Elvis movie. That's so weird.
So Kurt Russell kicked Elvis in the shin. Mm-hmm. Then in 1979, he played Elvis directed by John Carpenter. Now, as we're moving along to 1993, Kurt Russell's Tombstone co-star Val Kilmer portrayed Elvis in True Romance, which also was in 1993. So in 1993 was Tombstone, Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer. His co-star Val Kilmer played Elvis in like a dreamlike stance for Christian Slater in True Romance. So now his co-star in 93 is playing Elvis, right? Next, in 1994, Kurt Russell voiced Elvis in Forrest Gump. He was uncredited, but that scene in the beginning when Elvis was like, "Hey kid, let me see your dance moves," and then he steals Forrest Gump's dance moves. That was Kurt Russell's voice as Elvis.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow.
So he was the uncredited voice of Elvis in Forrest Gump. Next,
Elvis.
Yeah. In 1996, Kurt Russell's Escape from L.A. co-star Bruce Campbell. So he co-starred with Bruce Campbell in Escape from L.A. in 1996. Bruce Campbell would go on to play Elvis in Bubba Hotep, the horror comedy classic that you need to watch now. So it's old Elvis in a nursing home being attacked by a mummy. And there's actually a DVD commentary where Bruce Campbell... All right, so Elvis is watching a movie where Bruce Campbell's playing Elvis. And Elvis is like, who's this Bruce Campbell fella? Who's this guy? This fella? What kind of picture is this? He's I've done a lot of pictures in my life, surfing pictures, music pictures, but I ain't seen no pictures like this. So it's Elvis watching Bruce Campbell play Elvis. So his co-star in 96 plays Elvis. Moving along. And then in 2001, Kurt Russell dresses up as Elvis with Kevin Costner in 3,000 Miles to Graceland, and they rob a place. So he goes back to Elvis again in 2001.
Wait. And 3,000 Miles to Graceland had Christian Slater in it, who was in True Romance for Val Kilmer's Elvis.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Oh, dude, I see the numbers. I say no to the bullets. Just so we're clear.
Oh my gosh, I got a post going up about this in a couple days. I need to fix this. All right, yeah. So Christian Slater's in there.
Your flowchart's going to look like a spider web.
And then another interesting thing is Kurt Russell played Wyatt Earp in Tombstone, and Kevin Costner. You know what I love about Kurt Russell? He plays Wyatt Earp in a movie called Tombstone, right? That's like an ensemble piece. Kevin Costner plays Wyatt Earp, and the movie's called Wyatt Earp, and it's a 3-hour Western, basically just with the camera just centered on Costner's face the entire time. So, yeah, I mean, the guy from 1963 to 2001 had various run-ins with Elvis.
You think when he kicked Elvis's shin back in the day, like the magic just kind of rubbed off on him?
Yeah, I think so.
It just kind of stayed with him. Got the
well, I mean, think about it. If you did that right, even though you're a little kid and you don't even listen to music and it's before the internet and all that, like your parents are making a big deal of the fact that you're going to be in a scene with Elvis. So you just go around telling people, I was in a movie with Elvis, and they're going to be impressed. And so like that was a part of like probably Kurt Russell as a kid meeting people and impressing new people, like
and kicking them in the shins.
Development. So then as he got older, he probably started thinking more about Elvis than most other people. Like that kick, that was like the snowflake that turned into an avalanche.
That's right.
Wow. It's just that's crazy.
Bruce Campbell and Christian Slater and Val Kilmer in it and Kevin Costner.
So all this time we should have been talking about Elvis Presley instead of Kurt Russell.
We basically were talking about the same person the whole time.
What if Kurt Russell's kick changed Elvis?
Like Elvis would have just been like a schlub after that?
No, what if he like didn't go the whole like cape and sunglasses route? What if he like went more like the Mick Jagger, Keith Richards route?
But he'd probably still be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, those drugs preserve those guys like vampires.
You know, I gotta wonder who, like where you gotta keep this world safe for Keith Richards. You know what I mean?
No.
They're mummified. I saw them in concert though. They were awesome.
We'll all be long dead, like by the time Keith Richards actually passes. I don't know what's keeping him going these days. It's just a weird combination of caffeine and nicotine.
Yeah.
Probably some other substances.
Whenever they use the stuff mummies with.
Embalming fluid or something.
Yeah.
He probably just puts that in his coffee.
Well, I heard in the 60s he thought he bought like a vodka thing, but it was embalming fluid. So he drank that for about 10 years trying to push it. Like he never liked it, but he's like, well, I'm backing it.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, Kurt Russell and the King.
All right. Well, I did not do a dissertation worth of work on mine. For me, I actually was just thinking of some lesser thought of moments in Kurt Russell's career. And for me, actually sticking with the same time frame, it was 1979 or 1980 that the movie Used Cars came out. Ooh. And Russell still wasn't, like a big name yet. He hadn't done Overboard yet. He hadn't done The Thing yet. And in this, there's this scene, and it's the scene that I remember more than anything in this movie, Used Cars. This is R-rated comedy, where he's competing with the used car lot across the street, right?
It's two brothers, right?
Yeah, and so they're like competing, and I mean viciously competing, trying to put each other out of business. And he decides like to do this sleeper cell thing. So it's this big day with some holiday that's like the biggest day in car sales. And the one guy he's got like balloons over there, bring the whole family out to pick out your car and all this stuff. And I think they're riding horses for the kids, and it's all dark across the street. And then all of a sudden, the lights come on, and you hear some disco music starting to come on. And you see Kurt Russell there.
That sounded like Mortal Kombat music.
Or whatever. No. Dude, you guys look up Used Cars movie dance scene, and you'll find this on YouTube. But he just starts dancing like.
He has like a little Elvis vibe up there.
Right.
It's like disco.
Yeah. But he's doing like the Staying Alive dance moves, right? The disco moves. And he's got this girl dancing right next to him on the hood of a car, and there are his other salespeople on the hoods of cars. And then out of nowhere, he's like, "Hey, everybody, blah, blah, blah. I'm Kurt Russell. We're going to sell cars pretty much." And he says, and we're going to strip down those high prices. And I remember seeing this movie in middle school on HBO, and my jaw just dropped because when he said strip off those high prices, the women on the cars took off their tops. I mean, and this is Kurt Russell. He's just owning this scene and its simplicity, this ridiculous over-the-top scene before Captain Ron, before he was getting pissed off at electronic chess, right? Before anything, before he was an Olympic ice hockey coach, he was dancing on the hoods of cars with strippers.
And like, I can't think of many other actors that I could picture like selling. Like in that day, I think he could have been a great used car salesman, right?
Oh, he's got the charisma you need to be a used car salesman.
Like I would walk away with like the worst car ever if I went to that lot.
But you'll be happy.
Yeah, it's got a glove box filter. I'm like, oh, great.
Oh, nice.
The thing is that, like, if this movie came out after he was surfing down Wall Street and Escape from New York, or like after he was battling like some shape-shifting aliens or so, I don't know, like he wasn't really a household name yet,
yeah.
and he's pulling off this scene in an R-rated, understated comedy in the late 70s, it was like 1980, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
80.
That's almost like a risky role. I wonder if his agent was like, "Look, Kurt, I mean, we expect big things of you. You did kick Elvis in the shin, but I think this might be a career killer."
Yeah, and he was like a child star too. It's like he was like this child star, and then he jumped into this crazy R-rated movie.
Yeah, so Eddie Murphy was dancing around with basically strippers and Coming to America, but when he did that, he was already popular for years. He was like a name as an adult already. But I mean, I don't know. I love this scene. Not necessarily the whole movie, but I love that scene.
Do you want to hear an interesting fact about Kurt Russell?
Please.
He won an award for the DVD commentary on used cars.
Wait, what?
You won an award for that?
Yeah, they hand out awards for DVD commentaries.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, Bruce Campbell and Kurt Russell give the best DVD commentaries. When Kurt Russell and Escape from New York, The Thing, and Big Trouble in Little China, the commentaries are pure gold. They're amazing. They're like insider information, and they're funny. So he won an award.
Start charging for this podcast, because I know all the listeners who are like fans, they're like jotting that down, like, I got to go listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. Like, and what I love about the Big Trouble in Little China, they go into like the history of their careers and how they got to make the movies, but then they start talking about Kurt Russell start talking about his kids' hockey team for like 5 minutes, and then they go, wait a second, like no one wants to hear this. And then they just start laughing.
But they're wrong, because people like us do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I've listened to some commentaries are insulting, but like it just shows how blue collar he is. Like he's a great used car salesman and a great DVD commentary guy.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, Kurt Russell.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was thinking about what you said earlier, Mark. He was a child star who just jumped into R-rated movies. You think Zac Efron is just kind of following the Kurt Russell formula? Because he's kind of the same thing. He was a child star, child star, who's now doing R-rated comedies.
Yeah, when he was 13, he kicked Bon Jovi in the leg.
Oh no!
Did he really?
No.
You think Zac Efron's got the chops?
I was impressed that you even would have known that it happened.
You think Efron's got the chops to be the next Kurt Russell?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
No, but Efron will be his own thing. I'm very impressed and pleased with that kid.
He needs like he was good in Neighbors. He just needs like a good role. So I mean, I don't see him being like an action star or like a Jack Burton. Or,
maybe that Baywatch remake. Maybe that Baywatch remake he's doing with The Rock is going to propel his career.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like at least he's in on the joke with that one though. Like I feel like, when he gets it, I think that's when he's at his best, like Neighbors.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe he should just kick Bon Jovi now and see what happens.
Yeah. Get that magic.
Maybe he should kick Kurt Russell and see what happens. Well, that would be bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the key to a great career is kicking a famous musician in the leg when you're young.
See, if I had known that when I was younger, I would have kept an eye out.
Well, what concerts did you guys go to when you were 13?
Let's see.
Boy,
I went
when
to.
I was 16, I was at Rusted Root.
I went to when I was 13. I went to MXPX in St. Pete. That was like a good punk rock show. And then I was 15. I saw Kid Rock, so that's the closest I could have come. So I would have kicked Kid Rock. Where would I been now? Jeez
He
Louise.
had his whole crew killing you.
Yeah, once I got out of the hospital, I would have started my career.
Let's see. I think I was
On a
14.
podcast.
I think I was 14 when I went to go see Less Than Jake. This is back
Ooh.
in St. Pete. Which honestly, if you kick someone there, no one's gonna notice.
Yeah, you could have been spinning in the mosh pit and just whacked them real quick.
Yeah, it was just a Less Than Jake show. Whatever.
I think it's a Florida thing talking about MXPX and Less Than Jake talking about
No, a lot of
ska,
people.
pop, punk.
A lot of people know about MXPX.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just that Blink 182 just kind of overshadowed everybody during that time. So
Yeah.
all right. So when we're talking about Blink 182, we might want to take a break. But yeah, stay tuned, folks. The 50th episode spectacular Gallapalooza will return.
Gallapalooza.
Coachella.
We'll be right back.
No, Kurtchella.
Kurtchella,
Coachella.
2016, coming right at you.
Go out to Utah for Kurting Man.
Hey, podcast listeners, Robert here, along with Kyle.
What's up?
And John.
Hey,
We're here to talk to you about a little podcast that we do called Shark Dropper.
Yeah.
what do we talk about in Shark Dropper?
Oh, all kinds of things. Kyle, name one of them.
Oh, geez. Walking across America.
John, name another.
Ooh, video games.
No, we never talk about that.
Yeah, that's
okay.
stupid.
So if you want to
What do
listen to Shark Dropper, don't listen for the video
We
game
talked about
talk.
video games last week.
You know what? Just
No.
don't listen to John at all.
John,
Okay.
just don't listen to him talk.
Okay.
Yeah. that's a good rule of thumb.
But if you want to listen to me and Kyle talk, along with John intermittently, but really don't listen to that part,
Hi, guys.
go visit sharkdropper.com because you can find everything there.
Welcome back to the Movies, Films, and Flicks 50th episode. Super extravient.
I say, kid. I say,
Spectacular.
Kurt Russell, Kurtchella, kid. Hey, Kurtchella, kid. Kurtchella.
Oh, you can tell we're taking this super seriously.
She was only 16.
I think
Wait,
during the
what's-
break, I busted out my Blink 182 CDs.
That's right. I got all emotional.
Let's see, Dude Ranch and
That's the
United
best,
State.
man.
Dude
Damn
Ranch?
it, Josie.
Yeah.
If you grew up in the 90s, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. I grew up in the 90s. Well, I was 82, but I
90s
love me
kids
some
will
Blink,
remember
man.
this.
Yeah, that's right. I think there's a new 90s kids. I
Yeah.
say, Kurtchella.
Yeah. Kurtchella. Yeah. That's
Kurting Man. It's all about Kurting Man out in Utah.
It's like everyone just grows mustaches
right.
and wears eye patches.
Love
And
it.
listens to synth music from the thing.
And destroys old computers.
Love and good. I think you have a couple more listener questions for us today, right?
I do. So I think this is his third or fourth time contributing, but Jesse Deal from Camden County, New Jersey asks, what movie role would have been much better if Kurt Russell had the part? For example, Indiana Jones, Douglas Quaid, Forrest Gump.
All right.
So he's going big. Now, I'm just going to come right out and say it. When I could not wrap my head around this. I couldn't think of major roles that Kurt Russell would be better in, because instead I just would think of major roles that were great already. And I'd be like, Indiana Jones. I could sort of see Kurt Russell making that work, but why would I want to replace Harrison Ford? But then out of nowhere, I came up with kind of a secondary character. And I was thinking of the Australian hunter in charge of the raptors in Jurassic Park who says, clever girl. I'd like to see Kurt Russell in that role. And that role is iconic in its own right because that line is probably about as memorable as any other major line in the whole movie.
Wait, think about this, too. So his co-star in that movie, Sam Jackson, also gets killed, but you don't see it on screen. But in Deep Blue Sea, he gets killed, and it's like a huge shock. So imagine putting Kurt Russell in a movie and have him getting killed off. People would be like, what? Like people be screaming in the theater.
You
man.
wouldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
Like, bullshit.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
But so that was mine though. So mine is basically the Australian hunter from that movie from Jurassic Park.
So-
Like I couldn't think of a major role. Could you?
Yeah, so I was on set the other day, racking my brain, and Chris Kelly, often contributor to the site and blog actually, and to the podcast, he helped me come up with a few, and so the first one is instead of John Travolta in Broken Arrow, I think Kurt Russell would have been great in Broken Arrow. Now, John Travolta in Broken Arrow is like he's just this straight up addicted to cigarette smoking villain. Like he's a caricature. I think Kurt Russell with Christian Slater, could have added some depth to that bad guy. Like I think his his old blue eyes and like his more like, I think he could have been a good bad guy, but I think he could have added some like depth to it, as opposed to just like a straight up addicted to cigarette smoking villain. Right?
Well,
Like,
and he had some. Travolta was maintaining his suave walking from staying alive. Like
so he's just like sassily walking, smoking cigarettes.
sassily walking in the desert.
Yeah, well, smoking cigarettes. I think Kurt Russell.
No one can even see him.
Yeah.
Like he thinks like a Russian satellite is watching him, so he wants to look stylish.
That's right. And like I think Kurt Russell could have added some humanity to that, and that would have made him like a really good villain.
Yeah, that would have been good timing too, because at that time,
Yeah.
John Travolta was one of the highest paid actors.
Well-
He was like just go to.
Yeah, and so '96 was Escape from L.A. So Kurt Russell had the bulk. Like he could have like had he had like the swagger. This is coming off of Stargate too, where it's like '94. So I think John Travolta came back in '94. So I think he could have been great in Broken Arrow. I just think he could be a good villain, but there would be like humanity to him. And then I was also thinking about, since Kurt Russell played baseball, he played semi-pro baseball. I think Berenger is really good, but I think Kurt Russell could have been good in I checked on IMDb, they're only a few years apart.
Oh, you mean in Major League?
Yeah, Major League. I think Kurt Russell could have been good as like the aging catcher.
See, when you started to say Tom Berenger, or when you said baseball, I actually thought of the Rookie, that Dennis Quaid role.
Oh, as the pitcher.
Yeah.
He could have done that too. Yeah, see, like, but I could picture him in like an ensemble. Like, actually, Berenger just has a lot of city miles on him, so he looks older. But
That was before like 60 was the new 40 and 40 was the new
exactly.
20.
And so I think Kurt Russell could have nailed that because he's a very athletic guy and he did play baseball. And then also, this one's a big stretch, but I think Billy Bob Thornton was perfect in Bad Santa. But I would, this is Christopher Kelly said this, I would love to see Kurt Russell in Bad Santa, just to see like that style of humor from him.
So
Like,
it's basically like a drunken, depressed Captain Ron 10 years later.
yeah, I would love to see that. And I think he could do it and he could show range. Now, I think Billy Bob is perfect, but because I'm such a big Kurt Russell fan, I would have loved to see his take on it. So I got Broken Arrow #1, Major League, and Bad Santa.
All right, you're being very confident and not upsetting anyone. So I'm just going to say I would have loved to see Kurt Russell as Indiana Jones then. I would have loved that. But the thing is, I would not love it in lieu of Harrison Ford.
Dude, they were making a big joke about, they're talking about Big Trouble in Little China on the commentary, which is amazing. We need an Amazon link, so when people go to Amazon, they can click through our page. But they were talking about Harrison Ford, and they said everyone was expecting like Harrison Ford type character in Big Trouble in Little China. They did not get that at all. But I don't know. So those are my three. What about you, Laz?
I got a couple. The first is Titanic as the captain. I feel like the Titanic.
Oh, what a great idea!
I feel like the ship wouldn't have sunk in the first place.
Nope.
He would have saw the iceberg.
Yep.
He wouldn't have tried to dodge it and get sideswiped. He would have been like, "Go straight ahead.
It is what it is.
We'll ram it head on." And then the iceberg.
He would have pulled a Captain Ron boating trick, and then it would have been like Kevin Costner teaching the limo driver to drive in The Bodyguard. He'd like pull a 180 with the Titanic.
Like he would fall into his Captain Ron kind of mode, like at certain points, but that'd be okay. And
And we'll skip Poseidon with that boat crashing.
and Leo and Kate would just be like in the background, like, "Woo!" Oh no, we're gonna crash.
And then we would have had a movie where Kate and Leo have to like adjust to life together, and then it would have become like Revolutionary Road, where they just begin to hate each other.
And then like he makes Leo like draw him like nude. Draw me like one of your French girls, Jack.
You know, I just watch. So I've loved this. I don't know if you get. We've had to push this pod a couple times, and I watched Captain Ron again, and that's I still love that movie, but I realize that Martin Short is I hate him more than almost, aside from Tom Hanks and Larry Crown. I think Martin Short in Captain Ron is my least favorite movie character ever. He's the worst in that movie. Like,
I agree, but it helps heighten the likability of Captain Ron.
yeah, there we go. It's like such a polar extreme, but no, I like it. Titanic, and then what else you got?
Schindler's List. Oscar Schindler. The list isn't the list of people he's gonna save. It's the list of Nazis he's gonna kill.
Like Arya from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. He's just Schindler's slowly scratching names off his list. At the top is Adolf Hitler.
You know, if he'd have been in Taken like Liam Neeson, like I don't think it would have been the brute force. I think it would have been more of like a blue collar thriller.
Yeah,
because
because
it was Kurt Russell instead of Liam Neeson.
like I don't see him as
how about Kurt Russell in Michael Douglas's shoes in Falling Down.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
He can pull the
I could
flat
see
top
that.
off pretty well, actually.
It would all start at the DMV.
yeah. He gets his Pork Chop Express taken away from him.
Yeah. And okay, the last one. This is kind of weird, so just bear with me. But I know he was in Fast and Furious 7. But what if he played Vin Diesel's role in Fast and Furious 1?
So he's a much older character.
Greatest movie ever.
Yeah. I'm not saying
You mean like 1986 Kurt Russell?
no, like kind of like an older Kurt Russell playing.
So he's post Stargate, post Soldier. He's like 50-year-old Kurt Russell.
Yeah, playing opposite Paul Walker. You know.
I think they'd be great together.
Yeah.
So he's running the crew. So it's like it's almost like you'd think that the young crew would have a nickname for him and call him Dad or something.
Yeah.
I just want to see Kurt Russell attacking trucks. I think you said that, Levingood or Lasvath. That truck driver from the first Fast and the Furious is the greatest opponent that they have ever had in the series.
One guy with one shotgun almost took out multiple of them, and they're freaking out about losing Letty, and they're like holding someone from falling out of one car on one side, and the other guy's trying to distract them on the other. It's just an overweight trucker with a shotgun, inaccurately shooting while driving.
What if it was Kurt Russell the whole time?
I think it might have been.
That would make more sense of how he gave the whole crew that much trouble.
I do like in Furious 7, though, when like Vin Diesel thinks Kurt Russell's dying. He's like, you got to do one thing for me. You got to try that Belgian beer. So he set that whole thing up. Like, he wasn't dying. He did like the entire dying act just to mess with Vin Diesel to have him drink Belgian beer.
Which is pretty good. So
Yeah. Which is pretty good.
Long con.
The long con.
Long con.
Yeah. Or what about Kurt Russell in Dumb and Dumber instead of, as Jeff Daniels' role?
that would I feel like he would be able to pull it off. You know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I've never seen him quite that goofy, but then again, no one ever saw Jeff Daniels quite that goofy.
Yeah, exactly.
No one saw anyone quite that goofy. Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Right.
yeah, that's it for me.
I got one more. Last question comes from Twitter from Creepazoid Kelly, and she asks, this question is basically directed as if it was to Kurt Russell himself. What's your secret to being a badass?
Lifting drywall.
I would have just said not ever wearing sleeves for a whole game.
Like, I think Kurt Russell just lifts drywall. I think that's his workout. And he works on ranches with cattle.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, I don't think he's ever lifted, like, a metal weight in his life. I think...
Unless it was like lifting up the back of a tractor so someone could change the tire on.
Because he has a ranch in Colorado. Like, I think like, he went into Rocky IV training for Soldier and, like, those movies. And, like, I think for every movie that he's ever done, his main workout routine is just lifting drywall from the ground.
He has an interesting build too, doesn't he? Because like for all of the shape that he had in his youth, and then even in like into Soldier, he has like one of the most veinless physiques I've ever seen with that much shape.
Interesting. So that's what drywall does.
I guess so. Yeah, moving all that drywall.
Well, because there's like there's like blood liquid in your veins. So if you lift dry, get it wall.
Yeah.
All right, so what ranchers or cowboys have you seen that have been very veiny?
Most of them.
Matthew McConaughey,
Blood
Magic
Meridian,
Mike.
they were all veiny.
I feel like Kurt Russell had all of his veins surgically removed. That doesn't really make sense biologically.
It's like I don't need him. Don't need
I
him.
think everyone's just looking at his blue eyes.
Yeah.
He could be the veiniest person ever, and we're all just gazing at those blues. Yeah, I'll say one thing that might be part of his secret that other people didn't really catch on to is that he always had like a mullet, but at the same time he didn't have a mullet because it looked a little like a mullet, but in reality, every hair on his head was about the same length.
Yeah.
And when the hair on the top of your head, so it was really it's like he just started to grow out his hair, but then he kept it at a certain length because when every hair on your head is 4 inches long, in the back it looks like you have a mullet, but on the top the hair isn't any shorter. It's just not going all the way down past your jaw or anything. So he had a mock mullet. So when he kept his hair as he got older, he kept his iconic look, but no one was making fun of him for having a mullet. Not because he's Kurt Russell, but because it wasn't properly a mullet. It was like this weird anti-pseudo-quasi mullet.
And his mustache has something weird going on too, because I'm pretty certain it formed that fur coat around him in Hateful Eight.
You know, most humans have like 30,000 protein coding genes. He has to have 30,001 because he has one gene no one else has just for facial hair growth.
Like a fur coat formed around him because of his mustache.
Yeah, I was actually about to say
It's kind of like how flowers grow towards the sun.
What last one?
I was about to say it's got to be in the hair, right? It's the secret to being a badass. What kind of conditioner do you think he uses?
I don't think he does. I think it just forms. Like, Kylo Ren has Jedi power, so his hair just goes perfect. Yeah. I think
that's why we don't see his veins in Soldier, because his blood is Vidal Sassoon.
Yep. Well, it all sucked in trying to grow his hair. They had to cut his hair. Like movies where he has a crew cut, they have to cut his hair every 3 minutes on set.
It's like in Interview with the Vampire when Kirsten Dunst's little vampire cuts off all her hair and then instantly grows back to where it was when she became a vampire.
Yeah, and Christian Slater's in that movie too.
Oh man,
the connection is real.
Oh man, I think we need to figure out the connection between Christian Slater and everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big one.
That's right. Dude, so I mean, and every movie with Kurt Russell where he has short hair, they had to cut it every 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I think.
And he went. He went blind on Backdraft.
Did he?
Yep. For a couple days, him and Billy Baldwin, because they painted this pool and put it with cold water or warm water, and then the paint, it should have been cold water, so the paint didn't go, separate from the wall.
Yeah.
But they kept it warm, and so the paint got in the water. So they did this submerged scene, and Kurt Russell couldn't see for a couple days.
That would be. Couldn't see for days.
He had paint in his eyes.
Yeah, he that's on the Big Trouble in Little China commentary, folks.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. Actually, so the answer to these questions is don't get paint in your eyes.
Yeah, don't paint your pool and put warm water in it.
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, thanks once again to our listeners for his wonderful questions. Those wonderful.
I feel like that's probably one of the most off topic we've gotten.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
It was about Kurt Russell.
Well, yeah, but we ended up with painting swimming pools.
Well, I mean, the last couple of listener questions, we ended up talking about Blink-182 and MXPX. So
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
We're staying the course, which is completely off course. All right. Mark, do you want to pick up where we left off?
Okay, so a lot of movies saved the bombshell for the very end, but I'm not going to do that. So I just watched Escape from LA again, and I remember I watched it when I was 14, and I liked it. I was a fan, but I wasn't totally into like the Kurt Russell, John Carpenter lore, but I watched it again. And I absolutely adored it. But I noticed something amazing, guys. I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay.
There is a Big Trouble in Little China reunion in Escape from LA.
What?
I'm thinking now. It's like, is it like the Victor Wong guy? Is it James Hong?
Nope. So Stuart Kwan, James Liu, Leo Lee, Gary Toy, and Al Leong, they pop up as Pam Grier's henchmen in Escape from LA. So
All of them together.
yes. So I put together, it'll be on the page, I put together a picture where I took photos from Big Trouble in Little China, and then I drew arrows to the characters in Escape from LA. So the Chang Sing gang, who are Stuart Kwan, James Liu, Leo Lee, and Gary Toy. And then there is the Wing Kong, who is Al Leong in Big Trouble in Little China. They are in Pam Grier's gang in Escape from LA. So there's a mini reunion. There's a mini Big Trouble in Little China reunion in Escape from LA.
And we're not going to call that a coincidence.
Yeah. So I mean, they're both John Carpenter. But if you guys know the amazing, so if you haven't seen the elevator scene in Big Trouble in Little China, just YouTube it right now. The guys in that elevator are several of them are in Escape from LA, and then there's also other guys from the movie as well. So there is a reunion. Mind blown?
It's sufficient.
Cute, actually, I like that. It's something I'm going to look for now.
Wow.
What do you think?
I gotta rewatch Escape from LA. Apparently,
That's right. Actually, John is literally unconscious right now, Lazovath. That news hit him, and he is like his eyes are rolled up into his head.
I'm actually really shocked because when you brought up Escape from LA, I thought you were going to do like the Bruce Campbell reference because he was that weird plastic surgery.
Let me keep going here. I got more.
Oh, you're not done on the.
So
okay.
The next thing is I was going to start it off with what the thing I sent you guys is Snake Plissken was Fast and Furious before Fast was Furious.
Okay.
All right. So
you're too proud of that. You're going to be like a great pun spewing dad.
I almost didn't get through that sentence, guys. Like I almost lost it. Like I am patting myself on the back while saying that. Yeah. So the craziest scene in Escape from LA features Kurt Russell and Peter Fonda surfing a tsunami. So Kurt Russell and Peter Fonda are on this tsunami, right? And they literally high five. Then Kurt Russell steers his surfboard, sees Steve Buscemi driving on the side of the road, which is conveniently next to the tsunami. Kurt Russell steers his surfboard, jumps into Steve Buscemi's convertible from surfing a tsunami.
Yeah, that scene was like so acid trip, dick joke, teenager stupid.
I mean,
like,
Kurt Russell high-fived Peter Fonda, then jumped into a back of a convertible driven by Steve Buscemi.
I'll see ya. And Peter Fonda in it, though, when we meet him, he's basically the equivalent of like an aging beach bum on Venice Beach at 6 a.m. Yeah. Like, he's just like, yep, I'm just getting ready to go surf. Oh, you need to get away? Come surf with me. Here's a surfboard.
Yeah, and he's surfing by himself, but he happens to have two surfboards.
So how does he have the spirit? So he like got there with his car, right? And the car's going to get washed away. And if he didn't have Kurt Russell to use that surfboard, the surfboard would be washed away. He would have permanently lost those items.
Yep.
It's totally unreasonable that he even had them there in the first place.
And then Kurt Russell surfs into and perfectly jumps to a back of a convertible. You know, if I knew a tsunami was right next to me, I wouldn't drive next to it. So I mean, but if you think about like Die Another Day and Triple X and Fast and the Furious, well, all their jumping stunts, Snake Plissken was the first to do it.
He was doing all, yeah, that's right. He was
no, James Bond. So Snake Plissken is the American James Bond.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's fair.
Okay, because James Bond did that first. But
so that had me thinking too, though, like the surfing. So he was in prison for like a long time before they let him out to do this one job for like a pardon, right? Yep. So like they give him recreation time for surfing practice in prison. And so how is he doing?
You guys have seen me like attempt to surf on the coast of Florida where there's no waves, and I failed miserably. So imagine surfing a tsunami.
with no practice. Yeah. He's been in jail for 10 years or something. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm going to surf now.
And he does it perfectly and jumps into a convertible. So the next one is Snake is a great basketball player. So there's like a few things I've never thought I'd see, and seeing Pliskin play basketball is one of them. And like, there's this weird scene in Escape from LA where Snake gets captured and he has to run the distance of a basketball court, full court, and drain a shot. So he makes a shot, and as soon as he makes it, the shot clock counts down to 10. He has to go to the other basket and drain it. No one's ever accomplished this before. But Kurt Russell, he actually practiced on his downtime to make the shots. So he made every one of those shots. Like, Kurt Russell practiced a lot for this. And then, so it comes down to the point where he has to make the fifth basket, and he throws which he actually made. He threw a full court shot, and it made it in the basket. So Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell, is an amazing basketball player.
You know, that one I bought, though, like, because the surfing thing, I was like, come on. But when he did that he looked exhausted. Like, you were kind of like worried about him, because if he misses this and has to fight his way out, he's already totally wiped, exhausted. Like, his beautiful feathered hair is now all like tendrily and sweaty.
You know what I hated about that scene, though? Like, the bad guy's like, he's tired. And it's like, well, I know he's tired because he's panting heavily.
They should have been like, exposition in practice.
Like, he like whaps somebody on the shoulder, and then like on the bottom, he's tired. So he makes that. So he's a great basketball player. The next one is Snake lands a hang glider perfectly on the villain. So he meets up with Pam Grier and the Big Trouble in Little China crew, and they take hang gliders to attack a crowd of about 6,000. And so 5 people on hang gliders, easily available to shoot, kill about 1,000 people. And Snake sees the main villain, guides his hang glider, and lands on top of him.
Because he's hang glided before.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these guys were literally 10 feet above thousands of people, just mowing them down with grenades and machine guns. They weren't getting shot, by the way. Steering hang gliders 10 feet above the ground perfectly. But then Snake lands a hang glider on top of the main villain. How do you even do that? If there's a crowd of 10,000 people and he picks out the one guy and lands on him perfectly. So, I mean, Snake sees it all with one eye. But, yeah. And then the next part is Bruce Campbell's in it, and he plays a plastic surgeon, which I think is awesome. So, I mean, so in 96, I was 14, and I loved Evil Dead, Army of Darkness. I loved everything Bruce Campbell. So when he popped up, I didn't know he was, because this is like before internet. Well, no, 94 was a website, so this is after internet, but I didn't have it. I got internet in like 2000, history of my life. And so I didn't know Bruce Campbell was going to be in this movie. So I'm sitting in the theater, and Bruce Campbell pops up with Kurt Russell, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I went to this movie by myself. I think my mom bought me a ticket and dropped me off. But seeing Bruce Campbell and Kurt Russell is pretty amazing. And there's nothing extreme sports about it, but I just think it's great. That's it.
Nice.
It was great.
I mean, like, I just love it. It's like, and you know what I love too is 2 of my favorite actors starred together in a movie that was like no one liked. That's like perfect for Bruce Campbell and Kurt Russell. Like, it explains them in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So, like, you were mentioning, most of these things that you were mentioning were like pretty much Kurt Russell in a less mainstream movie doing all the things perfectly that, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or whoever always do perfectly. And you're always like, oh yeah, they're always like the best at everything kind of thing. But Kurt Russell's doing it, and he's like this kind of more aloof character. So when he does it, it's like, wait, what? Like, I mean, I love Kurt Russell, but it stands out.
Yeah.
There were a few moments in Big Trouble in Little China that were like that for me. And he has all these like really funny moments in Big Trouble in Little China. But then there are these moments where he does something kind of uncharacteristically well. And you're like, where'd that come from? And first, it's like when we first meet him, remember, he's playing this kind of, he was gambling with who would turn out later to be the hero of the movie. And when he wins, and the guy's like, well, hold on, like, I'll bet you for my money back that I can cut this bottle in half with my machete. And so he's lining up, and when he hits it, it goes flying at Kurt Russell's face, and he just poof, catches it. Catches it like it's nothing, right? Like, all of a sudden, he has like League of Shadows reflexes taught by Liam Neeson in the Himalayas or something. So, like, there was that, and then, like, towards the end of the movie, there's the low pan knife throw where he throws it like a total loser and misses low pan. But then when Lo Pan throws it back at him, he just perfectly catches it out of the air and throws it back and kills Lo Pan and gets him in the head.
Yeah.
Right? That's out of nowhere, right?
You know what I loved? I just watched Big Trouble in Little China again, too. When he sees that Lo Pan's going to throw the knife, Kurt Russell takes that woman and puts her behind him. It was a gentleman.
Sure.
It was a gentleman move. I was like,
he's like, oh shit, this is going to go bad.
I had never noticed that before. I'm like, he's about to get wiped out, and he's like, protected. He's not like thinking about himself. I thought that was pretty cool.
Maybe he was, though. Maybe he was thinking, if we survive this, she's going to remember that I did this.
Maybe he's like, I'm going to duck and let it hit her.
But so he has those two moments, though, right, of amazing, like almost like superhero reflexes. Like if this was a Marvel movie, all the bad guys would look over it and be like, he's a mutant.
Yeah.
Like everyone would know right away. But then at the same time, though, his personality doesn't match these actions because, like, when he breaks into the Chinatown brothel and he's in disguise as a traveling salesman, posing as just like a regular Joe who probably sells vacuums or something that, like, is just looking for some Asian nookie, right? Like,
Oh, you just went full Fred Durst, man. I love it.
Oh God! So he's got like the blue blazer on, right? The light blue vacuum cleaner salesman blazer, the thick glasses, and he's talking. And I had to watch this clip 3 times to really catch what he reminded me of. He's talking like Chris Farley does in Tommy Boy,
Which came out in '94.
Right, yeah, way later. But he's talking just like that, and it is so similar. I swear to God. Anyone listening to the podcast right now, pause the podcast, go look up Big Trouble in Little China, Kurt Russell disguise, watch the video, unpause it, and rejoin us. Okay, good, you've done it. Now you've paused.
He is perfect in that scene, though.
But in that scene, if you watch that, and then you watch some of the scenes of Tommy Boy, just the way that Chris Farley talks throughout pretty much that whole movie, you have to wonder, like, was that almost modeled? Was Chris Farley's character that he assumes in a lot of these movies modeled after that somehow? Because it's too similar, honestly, in my opinion. And then when Chris Farley does his van down by the river routine, he's wearing also a light blue blazer and the same thick frame plastic glasses. I'm saying there's a weird connection here between Chris Farley and Kurt Russell. And it's funny because it's his most out-of-character scene in all of Big Trouble in Little China. And then, like, 8 years later, Chris Farley is living it.
Yeah. And I love that he fails spectacularly at it. Like, I think Jack Burton thinks he's being slick about it.
God.
So he's like, in Jack Burton's head, he's like, I am doing the best job ever. And then that lady's onto him immediately.
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you have any girls here with green eyes?
Red flag.
Chinese women don't come with green eyes. She makes it sound like it's an order at IKEA, like they don't come with that, sir. I'm sorry.
Hey, speaking of IKEA, do you think if there was a Swedish Dawn of the Dead remake, would they film it in an IKEA?
I know it.
Oh, yeah.
I know it. Because then they could recreate the Dawn of the Dead shopping scene where they're going around collecting stuff to make stuff.
And just putting together furniture with montages?
Except, like, now instead of, like, swearing about, like, we can't get out there to get stuff to live because of those zombies, instead, they get the stuff with no problem. They're like, we've seen zombie movies. We know how to navigate zombies. But then, like, these damn instructions, like, where's bolt J5?
I think we're missing some.
Yeah. They tried to build like a wall and the zombies just walk through it.
That's right. It's like you didn't use the right wrench.
Actually, to be fair, we have that IKEA chair that has passed 11 good test.
Oh God.
What is the 11 good
listeners
test?
who don't understand, at my lightest, I usually weigh like 240, 250.
So we have this chair, and it looks like it's going to snap at any moment. But Levingood has sat in it for probably hours at a time, watching 2 movies while drinking. And you've rocked in it. So you've visited multiple times rocking in this chair that looks like it's about to snap, and it's never broken.
And I'll tell you, like those $20 plastic chairs that you get at Lowe's for like your cheap front lawn, like those plastic one-piece chairs, like where if you lean back, the back bends a little bit, but it's not supposed to go too far. I've broken so many of those things. And I don't mean plopping my big butt down on it. I just mean sitting down and then leaning back, and it breaks.
Yep. So you have not snapped this IKEA chair.
It's like a Dolph Lundgren tested chair.
They have him sit in it for 24 hours.
Well, he weighs like as much as me, so it makes sense.
I love that Jack Burton. I love that he's such a nerd, and I think he thinks he's doing great. They were making fun of him in the commentary too. They were just like, "Look at this idiot."
This almost makes me though want to listen to all the commentaries that Chris Farley ever did to hear if he mentions ever Kurt Russell or Big Trouble in Little China. Because if you watch this video and then you just like watch any Chris Farley movie, it's like Chris Farley is trying to be that character from just that scene in all of his movies. And then his van down by the river.
Lazarus, put it on a piece of paper and throw it on the ground.
Oh, I'm running out of space here.
Just throw it on top.
All right.
So the next one, I guess, we'll do is this one's pretty short. I've had two insane ones, and then one that I think is perfect.
Dissertations.
Yeah. So the next one is in an executive decision, Kurt Russell's blockbuster award-winning role. Kurt Russell does the best. All right. So when we first meet Kurt Russell, he's flying a plane. So obviously, you know what's going to happen later on in the movie. But he does the best white collar to blue collar transformation in any movie I've ever seen. So in the beginning, he's like in this tux. He's like a total wimp, but then Steven Seagal gets sucked out of a air pipe. Joe Morton gets paralyzed, and then he gets in this hoodie, and he has like greased back hair. Look at his hair in Executive Decision after so when he has his suit on, he has like a tux with like really Kurt Russell hair, but then he puts on his hoodie and his hair gets greased back. So it's like he does like the Olivia Newton-John transformation in Grease. And then he ends up sparking a relationship with Halle Berry and they land a plane. I just love it though. Like in the beginning, Kurt's like, I don't know, guys. I'm a white collar guy. I don't know anything about this stuff. But then he puts on a hoodie and greases back his hair and he's landing airplanes. I just think I don't know. I love it.
That whole movie was pretty fun. You know, that transition point where Steven Seagal is because that kind of connection between the planes. It's like, oh, there's turbulence, it's shaking, and he's in it, and Steven Seagal's just like, well, I'm the guy who thought he was going to die in all these missions before, so I'm super calm right now. See ya, I'm going to close the hatch so we all don't die. And Kurt Russell's just like, he's sitting there, Kurt Russell, his character is reacting like 15-year-old me was reacting while watching the movie. Like, wait, Steven Seagal was going to save us.
I did not see that coming, by the way. I was like, oh my. And then they you know what I love, though? This is why I'll never forget this movie. Two of my favorite actors are John Leguizamo and Kurt Russell. And they're basically the heroes of this movie. Like, I don't know. And what I hate, though, that John Leguizamo's in a movie and his nickname is Rat. It's like, come on, guys. He was in AR and they gave him a drug problem. And you're like, come on, stop doing this to Leguizamo. Like, make him a normal human being. But
I just had a weird revelation, by the way.
What?
Well, we talked about Dolph Lundgren, or mostly you talked about Dolph Lundgren on the website for years. And now we've talked about Kurt Russell for like almost 2 years on the podcast. Like, are we going to start talking about someone else?
Leguizamo.
I mean, you don't decide this consciously, but... Yeah. Pretty soon we will have run the laps. I'm sorry, just a little world-shaking quantum physics of movienomics just happened in my head there.
I could gladly make a move to John Leguizamo. That's fine. I'll do it. I like underrated actors, man. Like, I don't know.
I can reference John Wick, his major scene in John Wick for days.
He's amazing, dude. And like Romeo and Juliet, dude kills it in that movie.
Oh, his Tybalt. Yeah,
dude, he's amazing in that movie, man. Like,
his facial hair is amazing in that movie.
Isn't he on he's a Capulet?
And he's got like the most thinly manicured facial hair. It has like it's almost like one of those music symbols
and a cool gun
going on down his face. It's so elaborate.
Dude, he kills it in that his thing Freak, which he did on Broadway, directed by Spike Lee. It's awesome. But yeah, so I mean, but like that's why I love Executive Decision is John Leguizamo and Kurt Russell were the heroes. Like that's like it makes me happy. So I had to I know this sounds bad, but when it was 2003 and I had internet, I had to like rip a CD copy of John Leguizamo's Freak so I could listen to it because I love that show so much. So I could listen to my car. Dude kills it.
It was good. I've seen that a bunch of times, start to finish.
Dude, he's the best. All right, our 100th pod is going to be
All about
John
Leguizamo.
Talking about some Tu Wong Fu.
Dude, he crushes it, man. Yeah, but I don't know. I just love that Bruce. I just love that Kurt Russell became the star of that movie, and I thought like he added, like in Elvis, he kind of adds like a blue collar, like a vulnerable vibe. Like even in Big Trouble, remember when Kim Cattrall was like next to him? He's like, I can't think. You're like rubbing on me. Like JCVD. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger never would have done that. So like Kurt Russell is the I don't know, I just feel like he's like the vulnerable blue collar hero we need.
Yeah, he's willing to hit the self-effacing things that the other big names aren't.
Like I don't even see Bruce Campbell pulling that off. Bruce Campbell never did that. Like Kurt Russell is like the only guy that I think can really pull off the like vulnerable yet heroic guy. That's right.
Well.
Yeah.
So we're talking a lot about Kurt Russell, and I think that we're all winners for talking about him. But at the end of the day, Kurt Russell, in my opinion, is the character I'm going to talk about. He's the worst loser ever and the best loser ever simultaneously.
And the best, most perfect horror movie ever made. My favorite, but the most perfect horror movie ever made is this movie you're talking about.
I might agree with you. So we're talking about his character MacReady in The Thing. And when we kind of really get to meet his character, not the first time we see him, but the first time that we really see him reacting to anything is not when he's wearing what looks like a sombrero out in the Arctic. He's not really talking. It's when he pours himself a drink. It's before anything's going wrong. And he's sitting down alone in a room in an Arctic research station. And he's playing against Chess Wizard, which is basically an old floppy disk program where you just play computer chess. And computer chess is like doing something that he thinks is stupid. And he's like, oh, you're losing it, Chess Wizard. So he makes his move and he's got his J and B. And then all of a sudden it's checkmate. And he reacts by opening up the thing where you like this little like control board and pouring his drink into the computer when they're in the Arctic. Like, he's just playing a game of chess. He probably played that thing every day, and that's how he reacts when he loses.
Dude, that sums up Kurt Russell from our first episode, what you said. He never has a plan.
No, that's just it. Like, that, you clearly didn't think that one out.
None of his movies he has ever thought out.
Like, we're not fixing. It's not like you can go drive that to Geek Squad or get a new one. You are now at that research station minus one computer.
Yeah.
Which evidently is not that important because we're going to pour liquor in it. And this brings me to something more important. He poured himself about 2 ounces of grain alcohol, right? They are at an Arctic research station where they don't expect to see anybody for weeks at the point of the movie where it ends. And they were presumably there for a while already. Now, these guys have nothing to do. It's just a bunch of dudes. I assume they're drinking a lot. Like, isn't alcohol like something that you don't want to waste when you're there?
That's an egregious waste.
And taking cases of liquor is going to weigh down a helicopter, so it's not like they're getting loads at the time. Like that was selfish and pissy, and he was just. He even called the computer a cheating bitch. And you can't. Think about the last time you actually said something to your computer. Like, the computer might freeze and you just say shit in general to the universe. You're not talking to the computer. Like, he's such a bad loser. But then, right, fast forward an hour and 40 minutes to the end of the movie, right? It's him and Keith David. They shut down. The power's gone. They're sitting outside because it's the safest place so that they can see the thing coming if the thing is there. And he makes a statement like, we're going to freeze to death out here. And Kurt Russell, he just responds back like, that's the way it has to be. So all of a sudden, even though he's losing, it's okay that he loses as long as humanity kind of gets saved and this thing doesn't get to get one of them and pass on.
So he's like petty, but he gets it.
Yeah, I mean, I think not Ernie Hudson, I'm sorry. Keith David, I had my racist moment there. I think Keith David's line was actually like, in 2 hours, it's going to be 100 degrees below zero. And Kurt Russell says something like, that's exactly the way it has to be.
That's right.
And so like, and then, it's just synth music, fade to black because they're going to freeze to death and that thing's out there with them. But like, that was in such a bad situation. Like, he just went through the worst day that anybody in the universe had ever been through with Keith David, right? Mm-hmm. And he is completely at peace with the fact that they're going to freeze to death.
Keith David is pretty great, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The way he kneed Roddy Piper in the nuts 3 times,
and They Live in Pitch Black. He was in a show called Listed that I love too. But no, like, and this is a sidebar. But Ernie Hudson, we worked Comic-Con for a long time. He would dress up as a Ghostbuster and like,
oh really?
Yeah. So yeah, I like No Escape, Ray Liotta, who was in Tequila Sunrise with Kurt Russell. By the way. But no, I love it. I never even thought about it like that. I never thought that he just wasted alcohol. I always thought that he killed the computer was weird, but I didn't think about the alcohol wasting, which is weird because normally I really hate that. I really hate it. But then no, at the end you're right. Like, he just kind of said, "This is the way it has to be." Like, it's a perfect horror film. It's gross. It's grody. John Carpenter got in a lot of trouble with the studio. He had to like pay penance after making that movie because everyone thought that John Carpenter was like this really mean filmmaker. So he had he couldn't after he made that movie, people were like, "Man, he's fucked up." Like so wow. He said he had to pay penance in the Big Trouble in Little China commentary after he made The Thing because everyone thought he was just a mean filmmaker.
Really?
But that movie doesn't age. The Thing doesn't age. And I love movies that don't age. I'd watch it now, and it just doesn't. Something about it, like, it just stays relevant to this day. And Kurt Russell's sombrero is the main point.
That hat is so ridiculous.
It just does like the slow burn type of dread so well that you rarely see in horror movies done that well.
Well, but that slow burn was punctuated by slimy, shape-shifting alien monsters.
That's why I know you love that movie now. Over 50 podcasts, we've learned, John, that you love slimy tentacles. You like gross tentacle stuff.
Specifically when they're practical effects.
Yeah.
CGI ones.
You love movies with tentacles. Gross practical tentacles.
Tentacles or tendrils or some kind of amorphous thing.
You like squishy stuff.
Squishy stuff. That's why I like Spring.
You like goo. That's why you love that scene in Drag Me to Hell when she gums her.
Oh,
that's great though.
Yeah, and Spring. There's a lot of goo in Spring.
I mean, Spring was the gooey warmth, both in her transformation and the romance.
Oh, you must have loved it when they showed the Kraken in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, that was sloppy. There's goo everywhere.
Ooh.
That was mostly just like popcorn entertainment for me. See, that kind of tentacle, like, it's just not cool.
Oh, it wasn't hardcore enough for you. Like, it was a mainstream type of tentacle action.
What about, do Tremors have goo?
No, but I like their little puppet. They're 3-tongue puppets.
Oh yeah, they have like little tentacles.
Yeah, they're like it's like 3 tongues that each have a mouth at the end of them, and so when they roll out and they're like kind of snaking around, they have their own little personality. They're pretty cool.
And we ended that when we created our own horror film. We ended up with a villain that was a squid that had tentacles.
And a crossbow.
Your love of goo and tentacles have really guided our podcast.
That was well, I guess
I'm joking. Yeah.
The H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu thing, because I love that stuff, all things H.P. Lovecraft, and I was like, oh, let's make it kind of Cthulhu based. And like some tentacular deep one creature.
No, I think I said, who is Cthulhu and what does he do?
There we go.
So that's our Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it's it took us 50 episodes, but we finally got to talking about Kurt Russell.
So, are we retiring Kurt Russell?
Well, I don't think we need to retire him. I mean, it'll happen, though, eventually. I think it's just going to slip away. Because you remember, even in our early episodes of this podcast, and our listeners, if you guys listen to our backlog much, so in the very first few episodes, we actually referenced Dolph Lundgren a little bit and how we talk about him a lot. and then it just didn't happen. It was Kurt Russell kind of filled those big, oversized Swedish boots.
I mean, for years, if this podcast took place 3 years ago, it'd be nothing but Dolph Lundgren, because I've watched all his
and
direct.
4 years ago and 5 years ago.
If you typed in Dolph Lundgren bad movie, our website was the first thing that popped up. Like, I wrote exclusively about bad Dolph Lundgren movies. Exclusively.
I don't
Like,
know.
I'm not suggesting that we hang up Kurt Russell's, Arctic sombrero. I'm just saying, like,
It'll be a completely organic thing.
Yeah, there we go. No force. I don't think we've ever forced anything on this.
I have been mentioning Zac Efron a lot. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think I'll have the backing for it. We'll see. It's gonna sneak up on us, and we're not gonna see it coming. Like the thing just assumed Lazavath and was sneaking up on us.
It has to happen. See, since like we're pushing for it, we gotta. It's got to be organic. You're right.
Yeah.
It's got to be like. It's got to be technically squishy. It's just got to happen.
We'll never mention it again, and we'll see what happens. Maybe in episode 100, we'll be talking about I don't know, Michael J. Fox.
Dude, he's the best. He's a national treasure.
He is. He is.
And I would say the movie National Treasure is the national treasure.
Nicolas Cage. That's another great.
Nikki C.
Yeah.
Well,
All
we
right.
used to talk about him a lot, actually, too, before the podcast.
Oh, I wrote a lot about him.
Yeah. I don't know. We can cover the whole gamut here. We have a
What about
wide range.
Sam
I
Jackson.
mean, for all we know, episode 100 will be another Kurt Russell extravaganza.
Ooh, Sam Jackson. We could have Kurt Russell on.
Ooh. We talk about
For
Sam
Russell, I assume that you're listening. You're officially invited.
Jackson. Yeah. Well,
Stop. We'll fit you in eventually.
Yeah.
There can't be that many podcasts that specialize in talking about Kurt Russell, even for a single episode.
Oh, I know there's at least one.
If he, huh?
I know there's at least one.
Like, you think so? I don't mean where they talk about one of his movies. I mean, like, where the whole episode. Let's just talk about a whole bunch of Kurt Russell things. You think there's others?
Well, that one I was referring to was us.
Oh, our episode 1. So I'm just saying, like, if he were to Google himself and put Kurt Russell podcast, like, he really might get around to listening to this in the next, couple months. So, Kurt Russell, you're invited. Just saying.
Yeah. I don't think he listens to podcasts.
We got some JB.
Kurt Russell's agent. He's
Yeah.
invited.
Just
There
don't
you go.
pour it on my computer.
There you go. I don't know. Maybe Goldie Hawn listens to podcasts.
Don't let Kurt Russell record in the studio though. That would be big for Shark Dropper and all. But he's going to pour his drink on your keyboard.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, we probably need a new keyboard.
He's going to open up your tower and pour it onto the motherboard.
All right, guys. Before we sign off, are there any plugs you want to make?
Yeah, man. Kate Winslet, come do our pod. We could.
Kate Winslet, Leo, you can bring your new shiny Oscar. So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
I'd like to just listen to Leo tell me 10 different stories about when he got snubbed for an Oscar.
I'd like to hear, like, he's talking about global warming, but I'd love to hear about the massive yacht trips he takes in Russia, with like 1 billion people on these massive ships burning oil. And then I'd love to hear about his global warming.
Yeah. Shout
I
out to
wanna hear
Leo. All right.
What if Leo listens and I just wrecked it?
Oh man.
Leo, hey, Leo, you are also invited. Cordially invited. I just hedged my bets. Kate Beckinsale, you're invited as well.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Goldblum could be like a next big thing for us.
Jeff
Oh,
Goldblum.
God, I love Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Kate Beckinsale too. She's been in a lot of movies.
Bill Murray, you may or may not be listening. It's really hard to tell you. I don't know.
Dude, what about Bob the Ghostbusters to Lost in Translation? I'm a fan. You're invited.
I'm sailing.
Yeah. Anybody and everybody who's ever been considered a celebrity, you're invited.
Baby
Come on.
steps to getting Bill Murray on this podcast.
Baby steps to getting this pod over.
Yeah.
Hey, head to iTunes, Movies, Films, and Flicks, rate and review. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Also, Shark Dropper. The guys are great. And Levingood, just send Levingood money. He needs it. He produces our pod. He edits our pod. Just, you know what?
He also
Send
markets
him-
it.
Yeah, find him. Yeah, he wrote this entire pod. We are reading from a script. So just, message him on Facebook and just be like, hey, I'm going to send you money.
Yeah.
You guys send us money. We'll put it towards the pod. I'm just saying. Unofficially, we're not how did that get made or anything, but if you guys actually send us a check, We'll make something up.
It'll go towards booze.
I'm not just going to buy beer to drink on the podcast. I'm serious. If we get a check,
Go towards.
just don't write it to Movies, Films, and Flicks because we're not LLC yet.
Booze.
Right to John Lazareth.
It'll go towards balloons. It'll go towards cupcakes.
Cupcakes?
It'll go towards cheesesteaks. It'll go towards hot wings.
See, I thought you were going to say cheese, but you went cheesesteaks. You really
Yeah.
threw me
I'm
off.
a lot more invested in us getting some money.
It sounds like I'm just throwing a party.
It sounds to me like you're just hungry.
Yeah, I am actually. All right, guys. For my co-hosts, Mark Hoffmeyer
Just get us out of here.
and John Lemongood.
Good night, folks.
Thank you so much for listening to us 50 times. And hopefully we'll see you guys the next 50 times. Maybe episode 100. So,
Bro, John Leguizamo.
yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
We're above the target. T-minus 5 seconds till shark drop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the shark! Go! 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 This podcast is a Shark Dropper Studios production.